country, people are voicing their outrage over two satirical cartoons published in the school newspaper of Wesley College.
The 20-year-old editor of that paper is now breaking her silence to the media for the first time since those images were published last week. She sat down for an exclusive interview with 47 ABC's Jobina Fortson to offer some explanation.
After a campus town hall, letter from the president, and a week of outrage from students here at Wesley College over a cartoon published in their school newspaper, the editor is now speaking out. So when you were putting this on there, you had no idea you were going to get this reaction.
I had no idea.
This is Kristen Griffith, the editor-in-chief of the Whetstone, the independent student newspaper at Wesley College. She and a student artist, who is also black, have been the focus of backlash all week for publishing these cartoons. Dozens of online posts across the nation over the racially charged images. And this letter from President Robert Clark reading, "I was disappointed by the depiction, and as the president of this college, I apologize to everyone in our family, as well as anyone who viewed and was offended by the depiction."
I definitely understood where people were coming from when they said they didn't like it and they were hurt and offended by it.
But Griffith isn't necessarily apologizing.
The Whetstone is truly the voice of the students, not just the majority opinion, but all opinions.
In the first photo, the student artist drew a black woman wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt, saying she was late for her abortion. The second cartoon shows a garden hoe talking to a pimp. Griffith explained to 47 ABC the messages the artist was trying to convey. She says the first image draws attention to the hypocrisy in the Black Lives Matter movement. While the movement hopes to raise awareness of young black lives recently lost in police-involved altercations, Griffith says the image pits this against the high rate of abortions in the black community. And she says the message behind the second picture, the way you present yourself is the way people see you. Griffith says she acknowledges how these images could be easily misinterpreted.
I was hesitant in putting it in, but then I thought it'd be very hypocritical just because as an editor, I try to promote freedom of speech.
Griffith knows she doesn't necessarily agree with the cartoon's messages, but is glad it started a dialogue about the racial divide on campus she says is rarely openly discussed.
I really hope there's more conversation about race because of this.
Friday was the last day of finals, so Griffith and her newspaper staff are going home for the summer. She says when they return, they plan to publish the way they always have, reporting on the opinions of all their students. In Dover, Jobina Fortson, 47 ABC.
My name is Brahim Muse, senior at Wesley College, and I submitted a cartoon for the Whetstone that got a lot of controversy. Well, everything I do, I'm inspired by my people, and I wanted to touch on the problems I see in our community. And one of those problems is the Black Lives Matter movement. It's a movement that every time a cop kills a black person, a white cop kills a black person, we got a bunch of blacks getting upset. They want to start marching and protesting. But during all these things, we have black people killing black people. We got black people treating other black people wrong, black and Hispanics, not just black. And I don't see anything, no protests, nothing. So I want to touch on that to show the hypocrisy behind all that. Most of the responses I received, they came from African-American women mainly. But not all African-American women didn't like my cartoon, There were some that agreed with it, actually, There was a lot of African-American students on campus. They actually agreed with me, too. But, they were afraid to speak up against it because, some people, they posted things on Twitter. And as soon as they posted something, they got, "Oh, man, you're Uncle Tom, you're a coon. How do you hate black women?" So they wanted to actually speak up, but they were afraid. It's not just my opinion why I put that cartoon up. It's actually biblical. And the scripture's right here in Ezekiel 23:37. It says, "They have committed adultery and blood is in their hands. How have our women committed adultery?" Because in our community, we don't have a lot of marriages, It's boyfriend and girlfriends. And when you get tired of one, you go to another. He might get you pregnant. And then what happens? You abort it. After you find out you can't take care of it, you don't like him anymore, or you're just not ready to be a mother. All right, let's keep on. "And with their idols have they committed adultery." So it's not just talking about physical adultery, it's actually talking about spiritual adultery. That's going into the religions. You got Christianity, Islam, Buddhism. And then you got they idolize people like Beyonce, smoking weed. These are all the things in our community that need to be addressed. That's why I made this cartoon. Let's keep on. "And have also caused their sons, whom they bear unto me, to pass for them through the fire to devour them. See, our women back then, they would have their children and they would sacrifice to their gods. And you fast forward to today, what do? They get abortions. Why? Because they want to continue in their life of sin. They want to continue worshiping their idols. That goes into the music, their lifestyle. They don't want to have responsibilities because their idols is what they do these things for. So what are the solutions to these abortions? The solution is in the Bible, Titus 2:4. That they may teach the young woman. So the older women are supposed to teach the younger women to be sober, not getting drunk, not getting high, because that's how a lot of these pregnancies happen. When you get high and drunk, you go to parties, okay? To love their husbands, keyword husbands, not boyfriends, not baby daddies, not jump off, husbands. The older women are supposed to teach these younger women to be wives, okay? To love their children, because women have to be taught to love their children. Our women today, when they have these babies, what do? They go to their mother, hey, can you watch the baby tonight while I go out to the club? A woman has to be taught to love her children. And one way to teach her is this Bible. If these people really believe Black Lives Matter, they would treat themselves, first of all, with respect, because a lot of them, they're still dressing promiscuous. They're sagging their pants, they're still smoking weaves. If Black Lives Matter, it starts with your own black life first. And then it starts with the whole community. So my second cartoon about the whole one, it's actually not a pimp in a cartoon. It's just an old school man. And when I submitted the cartoon, I actually had a scripture under it, and that was Sirach out of the Apocrypha 19:30. Sirach is also called the book of Ecclesiasticus. And here it is. A man's attire and excessive laughter and gait show what he is. So right there, the scripture is telling you that the clothes you wear define who you are. So when these women wear revealing clothing, they're doing it for a reason. They're not doing it just because it's comfortable. A lot of them like to say, oh, I wear this because it's comfortable. But the reason they're wearing it is to entice other men. They want men to look at their body. They want men to look at their shape. They're not just doing this for the heck of doing it. And a lot of those clothes, they're made to emphasize your body figure, And like pants. First of all, a woman is not supposed to be wearing pants according to the scriptures. So the point behind this cartoon is to show what you wear defines who you are. The way these women dress, wearing the revealing clothing, they're doing it for a reason. They're doing it to show off their figure. They're doing it to have men lust after them, And a lot of these clothes, they're made for that reason. They're made to emphasize your body shape. They're made to put more emphasis on the breast, like they have push-up bras. They have pants to make your butt bigger, It's not because it's comfortable. They're doing it for a reason. So for instance, if you see a person wearing a badge on, a blue suit, and he has a gun on hip, you want to assume that he's a cop. If you see a person with a suit and tie on, you're going to assume that it's a business person. So when a whoremonger is looking which woman to score with, when he looks into a crowd, he's not looking for a woman, she's dressed more conservative. He's looking for that woman who has her breasts all out. She has the tightest pants on, showing off her cleavage, because he knows that she's doing that for attention, and he's going to give her that attention. He's not going to do that to the one who thinks she's going to be an obstacle. The easiest one is the one who speaks the loudest. So a lot of people might think that dressing like a hoe is something new, but even in Bible times, they had women dressing like hoes. Proverbs 7:10. And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of an harlot. So what is the attire of a harlot? First of all, a harlot is a hoe. That's just the Bible term for hoe. And the attire is the clothing of a hoe. So there you go right there. This is nothing new. If you really want Black Lives to matter, you want to look for the solutions. And the solution is in this Bible. And that's the only solution, okay? This is 1 Timothy 2:9. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel. That's going against the jeans, the pants, the tight clothes. A woman has to adorn themselves in modest apparel, not wearing clothes that will cause another brother to lust after her, showing off your curves. You got to keep that covered up. Okay, with shamefacedness, that goes into discretion. Our women need to be more discreet. That's how we need to teach these women. That's what we need to be protesting, have more discretion in our communities. And sobriety, going into soberness. You know, not getting drunk and high, going out to parties, going out to clubs every night. No matter how pretty you dress up, abortion is just murder, you know, just murder. There is no sprinkling on the top of that. It's murder. My final message would be, if the shoe fits, repent. I didn't do this just so I can offend a whole bunch of people. I did it so you can see your faults and hopefully change.
But what we don't hear much about is that there is an unprecedented level of real black genocide and true Hispanic genocide occurring right under our own noses and not reported by the United States media. Literally millions upon millions of blacks and Hispanics are murdered every year. But the reason we don't hear about this particular type of murder is because it's blacks and Hispanics murdering themselves as they are walking into abortion clinics and murdering their own babies in their own wombs.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join IUIC will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join IUIC to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this Join IUIC channel to get your latest updates from all our YouTube channels. Shalom.